In the Manila Bay and other bays that experience red tides, it is the marginalized that is affected in health and in economy.
Yung engineering is the ability to absorb, thrive, and then recover. The faster you're able to recover, the more resilient.
Sa Pilipino, ito ay katibayan at katatagan sa mahirap na sitwasyon at ang kakayahang bumangon muli.
Yung ecological naman, the ability to adapt. Yung evolutionary resilience, Vale, to really innovate and be creative.
Resilience is really being able to spring back from adversity, but it should have learning. And therefore, it strengthens you to be more resilient than before the adversity came to you.
Before COVID-19, the Philippines was already on to SMT-based measures to improve its resilience capacity. With COVID, the country was awakened to the need for resilience of our economic, health, and educational status as well.
The country as a whole is, I think, not so resilient because while we have the capabilities, the opportunities, and the resources to cope with COVID-19, the whole body is suffering because the leadership and management is not working so well. When it comes to individual resilience, those who have more resources, capabilities, and opportunities will be more resilient than those who are not.
A lot of the problems really may be interconnected, Vale. You have to look at it from a holistic point of view. It encompasses more than natural sciences or physical problem, Vale, but also it gets into the ecological, biological, as well as social pa nga.
Among issues and problems we have are poverty, ecosystem destruction, climate change, and bravery.
Much of our attention is placed only after the disasters happen. What we should do really is to take early action years before the hazards strike, and we should put our attention and our resources into that type of planning.
We need SMT-based transdisciplinary and inclusive approach to coping with possible hazards.
The fragmentation of society needs to be resolved for resilience.
Communication is very, very important. And we should communicate to the people using not just scientific communication means, but through arts, music, understand the mindset of the Filipino people so we can communicate better.
Well, the way to move forward is interoperability.
So we have to do a lot of work as a person, as a community, and as an institution to really have resilience as one of the values of the Filipinos. Yung tunay na resilience na towards improvement.
Building resilience requires sustainability science inspired by transdisciplinary approach.
To be sustainable, you have to be resilient. To be resilient, you have to be sustainable.
Go natural, go with nature's flow. Non-structural or natural interventions, as well as good planning, is the most sustainable.
Finally, we need to harness and strengthen the Filipino spirit of bayanihan.
Magandang hapon, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Para sa ating mga kapatid sa Luzon, mayapag at panapod, na bagamalam, masantos siyang araw, marahay na hapon. Para sa ating mga kapatid sa Visayas, maayong hapon, maupay nga kulop, maayong pugto. At para sa ating mga kapatid sa Mindanao, Assalamualaikum, malingkat mahapod, mapiya katuwa alongan, at buenas tardes. Para naman po sa ating mga panauhing banyaga, good afternoon, annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, salamat siyang siyang wuhaw. Welcome po sa ating mga regular na tagapakinig at tagapanood dito sa Zoom at sa ating Facebook Live. Hello po sa inyong lahat at welcome po sa ating ika-49th episode ng The Filipino Sustainable Development Goals or SDG Action Hour. Ito po ating lungguhang kumustahan at kwentuhan para sa maganda, maayos, mabuti at makabuluhang kinabukasan. Isang oras na naman po ng hitik na talakyan ng mga usapin na papanahon. At totoo po na papanahon na ating topic for this afternoon. Quick trivia po ay sa bisa nga po ng Presidential Proclamation number 1906 na ipinasa noong 2009, idineklara po ang October as the National Indigenous Peoples Month, kung saan ito ay ang buwan ng people's participation in the celebration and preservation of indigenous cultural communities as part of the life of the nation. At dahil po dito, ang ating pong guest at topic ngayong hapon ay may kinalaman sa ating mga kapatid na katutubo at mga indigenous communities. For this afternoon, our topic is entitled Capacitating Communities for Sustainable Resource Management. Ang ating pong panauhin ngayong hapon ay nagtapos ng kanyang Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness at nagpatuloy sa kanyang Master of Science in Development Sociology, Cognate Agriculture Economics. Para naman sa kanyang doctorate degree, he finished his Doctor of Philosophy in Sustainable Development Studies. Wow! Siya po ngayon ay nakadesignate as Assistant Professor 4 sa College of Criminal Justice and Sciences, Northwest Samar State University sa Calbayog City, wherein he teaches subjects like environmental economics, community organizing and rural leadership, sociology, development planning administration, and principles of environmental planning to name a few. Siya po ay isang licensed environmental planner at isang environmental impact assessment preparer. Dagdag pa po dyan, he is also an associate member of the National Research Council of the Philippines. For this afternoon po, to give us another informative talk, everyone, let us welcome ENP Love Lloyd E. Celeste. Sir Lloyd, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, everyone, and also to our panelists and to the viewers online. Good afternoon, everyone. Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. At ako po ay napapasalamat at I am invited here in the Future Earth Philippines to speak about sustainability. By the way, just to correct something, I'm not yet done with my PhD. I'm still starting. So first year pa po. So baka marami yung magtatanong, tapos na pala siya, hindi pa. So I'm still first year in my PhD, Sustainable Development Studies in MSU-IIT. So my track is in community development. So I would like to share with you our experiences in the field with respect to community engagement and also in environmental economics activities. So let me share my screen. Okay. So my presentation this afternoon is all about the capacitating communities for sustainable resource management. And I am Lloyd Celeste again, so environmental planner. And the outline of my presentation is as follows: the rationale, understanding the community-based resource valuation, key components of CBRV, training module, some examples or use cases of the CBRV, and field lessons. I just highlighted 4 as per experience in the field. So I am from Northwest Samar State University in Calbayog City, Samar. So far away from Manila, and my master's was in VSU, Visayas State University. So right now I am in my full study leave, trying to complete the PhD. And yeah, so let's start. So the basic premise of my presentation is that we all know that the Philippines is rich in natural resources. But despite that, we are also challenged with some problems in our natural environment. So for instance, we have the forest degradation and extractive industry, which is industry-focused legislations that have contributed to the loss of the forest cover. And there are also problems about the water resources, conflicting land uses. For example, in the artisanal gold mining and communal forest management, these are also present in our country, problems in our country. And we have also the water quality, both in coastal marine and inland freshwater environment is threatened by soil erosion, sedimentation, nutrient runoff, and bacterial contamination. So there are also problems about renewable natural resources such as timber, soil, and clean water, which is considered as a political issue in the Philippines. However, the government is also committed to trying to make some solutions to progress or end these problems. And again, it takes a political will, as we all know. And sustainable development, perhaps many of you already know this definition. So it is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations, their own needs. So this is influential in shaping also the sustainable development goals, the 17 sustainable development goals. And these are categorized in 3 pillars: the economy, society, and the biosphere. So in every aspect of the development, we should consider the following: the economy, the society, the biosphere. It should be balanced so that we cannot forget those who are not part of the development, and also take care of their well-being and also their livelihood. So, and if you notice that the 17th goal, the partnerships for the goals, it is at the center, in the upper center, because this connects everything else in the economy, society, and biosphere. So it is important that we have this engagement. And that is my point this afternoon, the stakeholder engagement. So stakeholder engagement is, according to Armenia, is one of the key dimensions of project sustainability. So there are 5 according to this author, but I just would like to highlight this one, the stakeholder engagement. This is the very vital aspect of project sustainability in whatever forms, whatever projects that we have. So stakeholder is very important so that there is sustainability in the project, and especially in natural resources management. So we are familiar with many projects that are implemented in the field from the government agencies like DNR, DPWH, and many other government agencies that are implementing such projects. And well, maybe you have observed that some of it are not sustainable, and we question sometimes. And part of the argument is that some of these projects are not really grounded in stakeholder engagement or consultation. So based on our activity, so we have introduced this concept about the community-based resource evaluation. It's not a new concept, but it's already been used several times by many practitioners in the field in agricultural economics, environmental economics, and ecological economics. So this is very already used in the field, and we are just trying to introduce this one to the community. And many of us in the academy, as researchers, we go to the community to conduct evaluation and get some responses from the interviewees, their answers about some particular issues, but they do not know the basic principles of why we do such things. So in community-based resource evaluation, we try to let the stakeholder engage, let them participate in the actual conduct of resource evaluation. So we are just a facilitator. We try to train them how to do it. And of course, we do not expect that it's perfect, but at least they have somehow this knowledge on how to do a resource evaluation, so that by the time that we are not there anymore, so they have this already knowledge why and how to conduct such activities. So the principle about community resource based resource evaluation is that it is participatory. So we try to include the local knowledge, of course, and some scientific knowledge, but of course we try to encourage those knowledge coming from the community, because they know what is happening in their own local. So it is participatory, and also a holistic approach. It does not only include the economic aspect, but also the social aspect of the project, the ecological well-being, and the community. So it's not all about the monetary business and the 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 economy, but we have also to take care of is the people enjoying or getting some benefits from that project. So the CBRV is also or can be customized, because in some resource valuation these are standardized, and in this community-based resource valuation we can customize, the community can customize based on the resources that they want to assess or evaluate. So it's a multi-criteria evaluation. Again, it does not only include the economic aspect, but also the ecological, the social, and among others. And also the results of this CBRV is important in policy and decision making. And as we go along with this discussion, I will share to you some projects that are used for policy making. Okay, so some components of the community-based resource valuation are the following. So I have only listed here two based on the output of our activity. So first is the identifying traditional resource base and uses, and also valuation on the identified traditional resources. So identifying traditional resource base and uses, the project leader or the facilitator will just let the participants, the stakeholders, identify what are their traditional resources found in the locality. So they have to list all that down and set it aside, and then come up with the rules that as an organization they wanted to have that resource getting evaluated. So from that activity, so we follow the valuation of those traditional resources. So any kind of resource, this is applicable to any kind of resource. So so we have the training module for the CBRV. First is the lecture, seminar, basic concepts of natural resources in ecosystems, and also introduction to resource valuation. Of course, these are technical in nature, these topics, but our sponsor agency suggested that we as researchers or facilitators should not go deep with the discussion of these things, because as we all know, we are dealing with the community. So as much as possible, we have to remove some of the theoretical background, so that the community will not get bombarded with some theories, because of course the scientific things belongs to the academic people. So what we are trying to do is that we have to teach them what are these things, and then that's it. So river assessment, of course, we let them conduct the river assessment with our guidance and field survey. So in the ecosystem services lecture on the resources and ecosystems, we also taught them how, or yes, classify the following ecosystem services: the provisioning, cultural, regulating, and supporting services. So we just discussed this one and then let them identify what are those that are found in their locality. And of course, part of the economic valuation is that we have to know of the resources. So this is shared to them. So what are the examples of these use values and non-use values, and then this will serve as the basis on what methodology that they are going to use in the evaluation proper. So for example, in the direct use values, they have this provisioning and cultural services here. So they have identified some provisioning services and cultural amenities in their locality. And the examples or this resource valuation can be used or applicable in many cases. Okay, so the list is not you can add more here because this is just based on my knowledge about this environmental economics, but this can be applied to me. There are lots of references online that the resource valuation is used in many aspects, even in non-tangible things. So water resources management, local tourism development, cultural and heritage preservation, protected areas and parks, land use planning, fisheries management, agroecology, and what's this? Wildlife conservation. So for our engagement in the community about resource valuation, community-based resource valuation. So we have training on resource valuation at Mako Compostela Valley Province. So this valuation was conducted in order to support and enhance the ancestral domain strategic development plan of the IPs in that area. The tribe is called the Mansaka tribe. So we have participants, a tribal community, Mansaka. So these are excluding the far left, or I mean siguro right in your video. So that's me wearing white polo shirt. So the three are tribal leaders. So and the objective of the activity is to develop a science-based resource valuation methodology that is sensitive to IP cultural norms and objects such as sacred grounds, burial grounds, sacred mountains, and certain trees or types of vegetation, or supernatural beings reside or dwell, as well as the flora and fauna that are used for food and rituals. And another objective is to follow up activities or projects for institutionalization of an IP-sensitive resource valuation methodology, as the production of a system of equivalence like harmonization of scientific names of flora and fauna vis-a-vis the IP nomenclature of flora and fauna. So the activity was able to gather some names of flora and fauna in their locality, and of course we have to give it some name based on science because these are already studied. And based on the activity, the ecosystem services identified by the group were the following: the IP settlement, the burial ground, the sacred place, and the rivers and creeks, hunting ground for the provisioning services. So supposed to be these are the ones that will be evaluated, be given monetary value. So from the activity, we have the exercises such as the river assessment. So this is the project facilitator doing or helping the tribal member conduct the water quality monitoring. And I did not put everything in here, the pictures, but these are the activities that were conducted in the river assessment of the area. So also we introduced them to the uh, field survey, how to conduct a contingent valuation method using the willingness to pay approach. Of course, in resource valuation, there are many tools that can be used in valuation, such as the willingness to accept and also the C choice experiment. And there are many other tools, not just the CBM, hedonic pricing also. So, but in their case, we just give an example about how to conduct this CVM, contingent valuation method. So just to have an example or experience on how to conduct a survey. And these are the tribal members also. Now, during the FGD, they have these issues and concerns. The value of geologic formations such as caves, the value of IP settlement, the value of sacred places. So their responses were the following. For the caves, this serves as the place where medicines are located. So sacred places also where rituals are conducted. Also, it is a hiding place during the time of war, and it is a source of knowledge according to the members of the FGD. And the IP settlement is a place of for relaxation and of course a source of livelihood. And these are, or according to them, this should be protected since the place was acquired from their ancestors and a place to live in, and it has some sentimental value. So that is for the IP settlement. So the value of sacred places are also, they said that some illegal and bad activities should not be performed in the area, such as hunting animals. It is prohibited, and also it is where the source of knowledge can be acquired. So for the sacred places. So one of the participants during the exercise was he pointed out to us where that sacred places is, but according to them, we should not go further because there are news, but of course this is just how do you call this one, in our dialect, parang sabi-sabi lang. Pero they attested that those who try to mention bad things about the area or give some joke about that area will not go back or cannot go back anymore to their homes. So hindi na siya makakabalik. Parang nawawala na siya, wala na papuntahan. So there are incidents according to them that these sacred places are really sacred according to their culture. So for the burial grounds, they will left the house if the family members died. So according to their culture also, and they will plant trees such as durian as a sign that someone died in the area. So this is very sentimental to them because they will just plant such a tree in order to remind them of the things that happened in one of their family members. So it is a solemn place, not like a commercial cemetery that we have as in our common society here in the Philippines. So also for the hunting grounds, it is a place to hunt wild animals for food and livelihood, and a place in where fruits and vegetables are available for the family. So the value of water bodies, of course, this is used for bathing and laundry and a source of livelihood and food. So the tribal community use these water bodies as fishing grounds and source of drinking water. So that was the first community engagement that we were involved with about the IP community IPs in the Davao, IPs in Davao. So the following slides I will share to you is not anymore tribal community, but a local community found here in our locality in Calbayog City, and also some experiences that we have related to resource valuation, how we try to use or engage this research activity to the community. So we had a community awareness campaign on the Calbayog Panashaiban landscape. This is a protected landscape in Calbayog City, and not everyone knew in Calbayog that we have this kind of protected landscape. So they will just mention that yeah, it's a an area where we get the source of water. So nothing else. They do not know the history behind the CPHPL. So the CPHPL has 29 PAMB members, of course, including the mayors, the governor, and the barangay captains, and of course, from the academia representative of the university. So the reason why we have this community awareness is because based on our result, not all of the people downstream or in urban areas have this knowledge about the watershed area or this protected landscape. And many of them were not willing to pay based on the contingent valuation method. Many of them were not willing to pay to protect the area to enhance or to improve the water supply in our city, because we have sometimes experienced the water scarcity sometimes, of course, during dry season. So maraming problema in terms of water. So not many of the people downstream are willing to pay to protect this area in order to have sustainable water supply. So we try to communicate to the people to make them aware that this is very important. So the framework that we used in this activity is the PES, or the Payment for Ecosystem Services. So many of the research conducted about resource valuation is just focused on the willingness to pay approach, and there are a few about the willingness to accept. Now we tried to at first to have this willingness to accept from the farmers upstreams, because they are the ones who will provide the services in return for protecting the watershed, so that we will have a sustainable water supply downstream. So there should be a consensus between the two groups, the upland and the lowland water users. So the lowland water users will was asked if they are willing to pay. However, for the upland farmers, we asked them the willingness to accept for land use change in order to have this sustainable water supply. They will protect the area upstream so that we will have sustainable water supply. So they will change their unsustainable farming practices. For example, if they are practicing kaingin, so they will not do it anymore. And if they enroll in this PES program, excuse me. So we have asked about 400 plus of these farmers, if I remember it right. And of course, the water users downstreams, about 1,000 water users downstream. So unfortunately, we were not able to get a good result, because only 46% from the downstream water users are willing to pay. So we were not able to recommend a PES scheme to the DNR and the PAMB in order to implement this water user fee. Of course, we have the law about the water user fee, but if we base it on a resource valuation aspect, so we should use it. The value from the resource valuation, we can use this one, but of course we cannot use it because the result was not majority. So the farmers, again, we asked them about their willingness to accept the land use change in that area. So this is one of the areas in the CPHPL. And our activity about the awareness campaign, this was attended by the PAMBI members and stakeholders such as the water district in our city, the electric company, the NIA, and some civic society organization. So we tried as much as possible to educate them the importance of protecting the CPHPL, and also we tried to communicate to them the result of our valuation study. Meaning after the survey, we computed that one and we have this economic value of our protected landscape. So we presented it to them that this is the value of our watershed and we should protect it because this is very valuable. Unless that we know how much the value of a thing, so it's the time that we take care of it. But if we perceive that there's no value in it, so we just ignore it. So that's our advocacy here, that we have to share this knowledge to the community in our city. Another activity is the last one, is about the mainstreaming change and social transformation through community-based sustainable tourism development initiatives in Barangay Malahog and Barangay Malupalok, Albay City. This is just an activity for phase 1. So the project is composed of 4 phases and we are done with phase 1 last year. So sustainable tourism, according to the theory behind sustainable tourism, is that we have to consider the socio-economic, cultural, and the environment. So first is that we have the assessment and research of the following economic and cultural activities in the area. So first is that we conducted the training needs assessment of the community people. And then we also had the same evaluation of the beach resort and a river recreational site. So we conducted, unlike in the IP community where we use the CVM, in here, we do not teach the community how to conduct the evaluation, but as a researcher, we conducted itself, but we first gathered the initial data, like the ecosystem services that are present in the area, so that during the evaluation, the hypothetical scenario, we can incorporate it in our questions later on. So the evaluation methodology is the travel cost method that we used. And also we conducted a participatory resource assessment, coastal resource assessment, and mapping in the coastal zones of Malahog and Bulongto area. And then because we have 4 teams in the project, so another team conducted a seminar workshop on community-based ecotourism concepts, products, and services. So based on the initial data that we gather from the field, we conducted the community-based ecotourism concepts and how they develop the product based on their available resources in the community. So the project ended last December. And okay, so this is the background of our study area in that tourism development site. So if you are familiar with the program of Drew Arellana, I don't know the full name, because this area was featured in one of his travel shows. So this is the Calbayog zip line. It's about 750 meters crossing this island here. If you notice, we have this red dot in this bridge, and it will pass or cross over to this sea And then in this island, we call this one Daraga Island. So, and if you look at it, it looks like a turtle, right? So this is the zip line. This is very popular. If you search it online in YouTube and many travel blogs, you can see this area, very nice and magnificent area, so to say. And also another attraction here is the grotto. We call this one as the grotto. And the other one is the Marble Park. You see here from the right. This is the Marble Park. So if you notice that we have the Bolongto River, these blue lines here, this one. So this is the outlet of the river. As you can see that it is looks like that the river is just or this island, this place Malahog is an island bounded by the rivers. This one, the Bolongto River. So one of the aim of the project is to make similar sustainable tourism destinations such as the Lubok River, because the river here is also, it has a wide river banks, and it has a very nice attraction because the marble itself is very attractive. Okay, and the mangrove areas in the river. So this has a lot of potential. So that is why we tried to conduct this sustainable tourism development project. And of course, we are trying to use the same process like we conducted ecosystem services assessment, and then the valuation method, and of course the community-based project development from their locally available resources. So this is how we integrate and capacitate people in order to have a sustainable livelihood, not just making livelihood out of the resources that they have, but making a sustainable livelihood without damaging so much of the environment. Okay, so this is the last slide. Some of the lessons that I learned personally. Now, I'm not saying on behalf of the team, but this is my reflection based on what I have experienced as a researcher in the aspect of economic valuation and community development. So first is that policymakers and community leaders do not need scientific results. They do not need, they need actual and applicable output without so much jargon. Because leave the jargon on our side. So we have to preach in layman's term what we know scientifically. That's my reflection after conducting all these things in the field and communicating it to the people. To them, it makes no sense why I am doing this one. So it should be that we present things in their language. So that's my realization. And also as researcher, so engaged in community development, so we need to know our boundaries, socio-political and cultural boundaries. Of course, in the first example, I talked about the IP community. So there are some rules. That is why we have the IPRA law, because we cannot immediately go back. Go to their places to conduct research. We have to follow some protocol, and of course, we have to respect some culture in their as a tribal community. We have to respect that one. And of course, we all know the socio-political context in especially in dealing with projects, and of course implementing some policies based on our research results. We have to know the socio-political dynamics in the city or in the community, because this will affect our implementation, because not everyone is, of course, on our side, or maybe they are on the other side. So we have to know that one so that we can maneuver how to answer them based on our results. Also, there is a need to understand how to balance the need of the community and, of course, the environment in order to achieve a win-win solution. Lastly, stakeholders should be involved in the planning process in early time from inception up to the completion of the project. They have to know everything. We do not go to the community, introduce this project, and then we only go there because we want to monitor. It should be at first we have to engage with them, and then even after the project is done, we have to continually visit them so that this is important in the sustainability aspect, so that they have this, their momentum will not stop. So they will just continue, and then we are on their back, okay, supporting them, whatever their problems along the way, even without us in the implementation already. So on behalf of the team, I would like to thank the research team from our university, and of course our team of Mansaka Valuation from VSU, and of course our president in the university, and the partners and sponsors of the projects that were shared this afternoon. We have the DNR, the CHAD, the local LGU of Calbayog City, and the USAID, and kay Sampalad and Bantay Kita. So I will leave you with one note only. So think sustainably, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Lloyd, for a very informative discussion this afternoon. And the floor is now open for questions from our panelists and our audience. So for our attendees, please use the Q&A option to send out your questions. I think we already have some questions in the Q&A box. So let me just first read your questions while waiting for our panelists to send their own. First one is from Sir Simeon Miklay. Sir, how can we access your thesis? I am interested in your valuation methodology. Thanks.
Thesis. So you can search me in Google Scholar or in ResearchGate. I have uploaded some of my publications there. And if you go to Google Scholar, you can type in my name, Lloyd Celeste, and then all the links of my publication, even the presentation this afternoon, I have three publications regarding the presentation about the PES. Okay, so you can access that one in Google Scholar. It's free to download.
Thank you po. A comment lang po from an anonymous attendee. I agree to you, sir. Bottom-up approach really yields a sustainable solution. Yeah. And question po from Lynn Resurrection of Business Mirror newspaper. It is interesting to know why the water users do not want to pay for its use. What are the reasons for this? Was the importance of PES explained to them, sir?
Okay. This is a, how do I call it? When I presented the project at first pitching of the proposal, so one of the from our university here, so they said there's no problem about water scarcity here. We enjoyed water so much. So I said, okay, if there's no problem, so why conduct this valuation about the watershed management? So I think it's not necessary. So we resorted to another approach, because my approach first is the willingness to pay. So I tried to change my approach into willingness to accept. And then I asked the people upstream from the watershed areas if they are willing to accept. Of course, without noting that their willingness to accept will, of course, I explained to them that this is the impact of their activity if they will shift to sustainable farming. But of course, the people downstream, we did not already inform them about the the benefits of protecting the watershed area, because that is not part of our research at first, because we we shift to the willingness to accept. Now here comes the funding agency trying to gather data and then have a policy from the results of our research to conduct a payment for ecosystem services. So with that, I go back to my proposal about the willingness to pay. And then, yes, that the question was right. We did not have this information drive first before conducting the willingness to pay. We did not tell them that this is, this is very important. The watershed is very important. We do not introduce that one to the downstream users. Of course, this is a in research, how do you call that one? No intervention on the part of the respondents, meaning what they say is actual. Whether they know it or not, the importance of watershed protection, that's it. So we leave it right there. So 46%, the result was 46% of our respondents did not really wanted to pay for the watershed protection. And there are I forgot the reasons behind, because that was in 2017 or 2018. Okay, so it was a structured interview. It is already listed some of the reasons, and siguro one reason is that water is free. Libre naman ang tubig, ba't ako magbabayad? That's one. And of course, there's a term from in ecological or environmental economics, the free rider. Ba't ako magbabayad? Kung magbabayad yung iba, libre na ako. I also enjoy the same benefit if I will not pay, because we live in one city. So that's siguro yun yung basic reason why they do not wanted to pay for the watershed protection. And so we did not pursue the PES scheme. We presented the results to the DNR, to the PAMBI, but we did not recommend to pursue the PES. But otherwise, we mentioned that other water users, not just the concessionaires, meaning the water users that are provided by the water district, but the NIA, the electric company, which also use the hydroelectric, they get water from the watershed. So what else? Yes, irrigation administration, and then Samelco. So these are the two companies or organizations that use the water. So perhaps the DNR can lobby that these two organizations will pay for the water user fee instead of the water consumers downstreams, kasi hindi naman sila gusto mabayad. Okay, yun po. Salamat po.
Thank you po, sir. One question po. A lot of extension projects have been conducted by SUCs, and as observed, only for few or nothing at all showed sustainable. What could be the reason why those projects initiated resulted in unsustainable or, in short term, saying failure? Sir.
Yeah. That is really true. I admit to that. Almost all SUCs have those problems, really. And I admit that one, that even us in our university, we have a problem of sustainability of the project. That is why in this project, the last one that I presented, the Sustainable Ecotourism Development, so we are doing it phase by phase. And first, again, we have engaged with the community, know their needs, then provide them the training. And then in phase 2, we equip them how to make such products. I guess it's not just on the side of the I mean, it's not just the side of the extensionist or from the academe. It has also one aspect that we have to look into. How about the people that receive this extension activity? For example, if they are not really prepared or if they are not really interested in your activity, so talaga hindi yun magpo-prosper yung activity. For example, if you give them sardinas, they wanted chicken, so hindi talaga. If you have a training about welding, pero yung gusto nila is dressmaking, hindi yun prosper. So we have that's why in our initial activity we have training and needs assessment, so that we know that what they really wanted. Of course, it's not just it doesn't end in training needs assessment and in the giving them or providing them the knowledge how to do things, but of course the support is there. You should continue monitoring and evaluation. That's to me that's one of the in my own thinking. I'm not saying on behalf of many the people from the academy, but to me we lack the monitoring and evaluation. Kasi pagkatapos ng project, pabayaan mo yan muna yung yung beneficiary. Pabayaan mo na. Wala na. So instead they are really interested in that project, but since no one is monitoring them, no one is watching them, so hindi na rin ako gagawa. O wala. Hindi ko na ipapatuloy ito. Wala namang kahit na siguro may benefits ako makuha, pero anyway, hindi naman sila interesado sa anong nangyari sa buhay ko. So what? So that's it. They stop. And many programs, not just in the academe extension. I don't like to name programs from the other government agencies, but of course we all know those dole-out programs. Okay? Maraming dole-out programs na hindi sustainable because the term is that dole-out. There is no participation on the end of the beneficiary. Kasi binigay nga eh. So, kung hindi siya interested, bibigyan mo siya ng yung gamit pang karagatan para siya mangisda. Pero hindi naman niya gusto yung pagpangingisda eh. Gusto niya maghabal-habal driver lang siya. So, that's it. To me, that's one of the things that why many extension activities are not do not sustain. And again, it's not just on the part of the extensionist, us in the academy, but also it has also something to do with the beneficiary. So we have to look into that. No, hindi naman ako sa nagmamalinis, pero dapat dalawa ang tingnan. Yan po. Thank you po.
Sir, ako na po, may question po ako regarding that. Kasi sabi nyo nga po, parang nagkakaroon lang tayo ng gaps when it comes to monitoring. Kaya natitigil yung ibang projects. Can we involve the relevant agencies like NCIP in like monitoring yung programs na binababa natin? Kasi after nga po maggawa ng extensionist ng mga programs nila, yung iba is naiiwan. Maybe we can we do that? Like connect the programs to NCIP or other relevant agencies para after nung funding ng current program or kung wala nang magtutuloy nun, sila na yung magmo-monitor. Is it possible?
Yes, that's part of the extension activity. Actually, if the extension activity of the university is implemented, it should have a component of M&E. However, like in our university, we are not we lack the manpower to do the M&E. Kulang pa kami ng mga staff paggawa ng M&E. Hindi naman kaya lahat ng ikaw pa nag-implement, ikaw pa mo-monitor, magiging bias na. So, ganun. And of course, external agencies can do monitoring. Yes, that is true. It's possible. They can monitor your projects for sustainability. That can be done.
Thank you po. Sir Cesar, yes po, you're recognized po.
Yeah. Paul, before I ask my question for in planner CelesteN, there's a question by an anonymous attendee. Are there any specific events or activities associated with the Filipino SDG Hour that people can join except this one? I think it's good to know we're still planning. But if the attendees can look at the different talks given over the, I think we're already, Paul, on our 40th, then they can contact
49th episode po.
49th episode. So if the attendees are interested in any of the past speakers, then they may want to contact that speaker directly, but we're looking into this possibility. So let me now go to Planner Celeste. First of all, thank you for an interesting presentation. First time I've heard of a talk on community resources valuation. Baka Planner Celeste can have a manual which can be used by others. On the Mansaka, my first question, on the Mansaka indigenous people, you mentioned about caves, sacred places, IP settlements, and water bodies and all. My specific question is this: what are the year-long 12 months, what are the income projects or economic activities of the Mansaka people? Are these activities in separate area, or are they mixed up with caves, sacred places, and all that? So that's one. Number two, how do you put a peso value to the cultural valuation, the caves, sacred places, and all that? And number three, I might be mistaken in number three. I think Mako Compostela is a small mining area.
Yes po.
So if the Mansaka people are involved in the small mining, so it's a totally different area from the caves, sacred places, and the like. So those are my related issues on the Mansaka tribe.
Okay. To answer the second question, if we can give a monetary value about the cultural, things, example, the sacred places. Of course, there is, the methodology about the contingent valuation method is it can measure non-use values also. Non-use values, because as mentioned, that the total economic value is composed of use values and non-use values. So this can be captured using the hypothetical scenario. Still, it can be done with CVM.
You're saying you're using land use as an approach to give a peso value to caves, sacred places. Is that the approach?
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
And
I don't
the next question, sir, is about the Mako.
Yeah.
The
yes, livelihood of the Mako people.
okay.
Sige.
So, I'm not really. I do not know really the the activity of this Mansaka people, but based on our engagement there, they pointed out to us the areas of the sacred places, and of course there are areas which are mining areas in that in Mako, and that is why they want to update or enhance their how do you call it, so ancestral domain strategic development plan, something, because their area is really being mined, and they want to protect. They wanted to protect that one, and so they wanted to know the value of their resources, not just the monetary value of the entire ecosystem, but including those that you have mentioned, the sacred places, the burial grounds. So they wanted to know how do we give monetary value to these things, because we wanted to stop those mining, and then we have to present some facts, but we do not know it. So that's why they need our help. So we conducted that one. And the other question, sir?
No, the other question is on the Kalbayog and the tourism, but some people might want to ask questions first before I ask the thing on Kalbayog.
Okay.
Paul, meron bang gusto magtanong?
We just have questions in the chat box. One question from Sir Ike Señeres. What GIS tools and datasets are you using? Are you using Google Earth or planet.com? Sir?
Okay. The generated map is created by the other project member, but I do not know really what my friend was using, but in my case, I use the QGIS. QGIS. And of course, the QGIS, we can download maps from OpenStreetMap, and also Google Earth. We can interpolate that one in the QGIS.
Sir Cesar, one comment lang din po from Sir Simeon Miklay. Comment lang, sir, we share the same setback here in the Cordilleras. Water users downstream do not want to pay. Water is free, we say. So what is there to pay? So that's just a comment from Sir Simeon Miklay. Sir Cesar, your question po.
Yeah. Okay. Let now go to the water thing. Water is free, but the water service is not free.
Yeah,
I think
that's
got to be
correct.
made clear. If you want
Yes,
water,
that's right.
kunin mo sa magpunta ka sa bundok. But kung dinadala ng Manila Water or Manila or the water district, okay. But what surprised me is I think there's a need for proper orientation. I mean, my background in sense is marketing eh. Gulpe di gulat. Kung ayaw nyo magbayad ng PS, ano gusto nyo? Walang tubig. So perhaps there might have been a deficient introduction.
Yeah.
But if I were to do this again, I'll tell them, hey, look, we have studied data that mawawalan tayo ng tubig. This is verified, let's say, by the water district, And if we don't do the pay for economic system, it's a matter of time mawawalan tayo ng tubig. So for me, it's really a question of proper orientation.
Yeah.
Because sino ba naman ang gusto mawala ng tubig? And I believe the additional pay is not that much. Okay. So it's a comment. Let me now go to the tourism. For me, it's a double parallel thrust. As you develop the tourism infra and all that, para sa akin dapat may sabay na marketing.
Yes po.
Marketing, and that's what I did not hear, Because
Okay.
if you have sabay na marketing, and really, you need not go market to OFWs in Filipinos overseas, but siguro muna surrounding municipalities and cities, and tell them, hey, mura, magpunta kayo rito, and all that. Para sa akin, sabayan eh. Have an amount for marketing, and gradually, as you have time, build up for the infra. Okay, so that's all. So thank you.
Okay. So just to give a comment, sir, the marketing aspect, of course, as we have said, dapat sabay, pero it was not part of our activity in phase 1. So maybe in phase 2, it should be.
Papogian yan, papogian eh. Let's say I have 2,000 pesos, pupunta ba ako sa in that area or another area? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much po, Sir Cesar and Sir Lloyd, for answering. Questions pa po from our panel and our participants. Yes po, Doc M.
Sound?
Doc M, naka-mute pa po.
Naka-mute.
Sa abroad, sir, ang ginagamit nila ay community-based resource management. How does it differ from community-based research evaluation?
Okay. I'm not really
Management yung ginagawa sa
Yes.
ginagamit sa abroad while ito dito ko narinig yung evaluation. So is there a difference between the two terms, evaluation and management?
Yeah, probably there is, sir, because the evaluation is focused more on the environmental economics aspect, and I guess I'm not really into the sa resource management, but the resource management is just, I guess it could be part of the resource valuation, but the resource valuation is more on to accounting of the resources. The management aspect, I guess, is a different aspect of one. It does not include the accounting of those things like what I mentioned in the presentation. I guess so. I haven't read about the community-based resource management. What I know is the valuation. So that's.
Kasi I think one of the components ng community-based resource management is identification of community assets.
Yes, that's part also.
For
yes,
to be properly managed for the improvement of lives of those people in the community.
Bali, siguro, ang pagkaiba lang dito is that we have some sort of economic aspect. Like, again, accounting, giving monetary value to non-valuable things, non-monetary objects. Yun po.
Gaya kanina yung example mo, sir, I think is it in summer?
Yes.
Dalawang resources lang yung na-identify mo doon. One is water, and then the other one ay ano na yung isa, electricity or what?
Okay.
Water and forgot already the other one.
Yes po.
Lloyd, I'd like to make a recommendation. Since you're already in resources valuation and accounting, have you touched base with NEDA? Because I think NEDA is already into this resources accounting. So if you touch base with the NEDA regional, para mag-jive kayo.
Okay. Thank you po. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you very much po, Doc M and Sir Cesar. Question po ulit from Sir Ike Senyeres. Are the people in Calbayog settlers, squatters, or tenants?
Calbayog City? Where? Where particular?
I think, sir, yung site po ng mga activities niyo or the research.
Yung sa upstream, yun yung nasa bundok, sa watershed areas. So most of them are tenured migrants, yung nandun na before pa na so hindi na sila pwedeng paalisin kasi nandun na sila eh. So ginawa na lang sila bali na steward doon sa bundok. And then the respondents for the willingness to pay are the people downstream, yung nasa syudad mismo, nasa baba. Mix po yun, hindi po yun ibig sabihin na nasa informal settlers ka or kung ano. Depende na po yun kasi random yung pag-select. As long as you are have a connection to water district, so you can be chosen as one of the participant kasi yung selection of respondent is based on the water connection from the water district. So it does not matter kung dun ka sa informal settler ka or kung saan ka nakatira, hindi po. Based po sa listahan ng ano. Thank you po.
Thank you po. We're still waiting ko po kung may tanong pa from our participants in our panel. Andiyan na po pala si Ma'am Lodi. Good afternoon po. While waiting po for questions, let me just answer po ulit yung tanong ng ating anonymous attendee on other activities or events regarding FEP-SDG Action Hour na pwedeng attendan. So this is just one activity po of Future Earth Philippines. We also conduct a symposium on different topics. And we also, Ma'am Luli and other FEP members also participate in different talks and events kasama po sila na-invite. And I have also sent in the chat box yung mga social media accounts po ng Future Earth Philippines, so you can connect with us if you want to propose an activity or partnership and if you have questions po regarding the activities being conducted by Future Earth Philippines. Ayun po. Ma'am Luli, may words po ba tayo for Sir Lloyd?
Sorry, I was in a meeting with the president of UP. I thought this would last only up to 4 o'clock, pero inabot kami ng 5 o'clock. We were talking about the Future Earth and trying to convince, well, he likes UP to be involved in Future Earth. And also, I showed him the problem tree, and he's going to help with that. UP wants to be involved in trying to find solutions. So, and part of this, I guess, related to the talk of Engineer Celeste. Is that ENP is?
Environmental planner po.
Environmental planner, sorry. Is, it's important to really evaluate the contributions of the people in upstream, since they take care of the water resources and the watershed. That's it's a service that should not be considered as free. So whenever a community gets water, from a particular place, like Subic is now getting, the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority is now getting water from the ITAS of the Bataan National Park, from the rivers of that. So that Subic should pay for, I think should pay for the whatever water the Subic, in the Subic Bay Freeport Zone, whatever that zone gets from the ancestral land of the Aitas should have a particular value, should be evaluated. Yeah, and I'm happy, sorry to have missed the talk, but I'm will be, I'm glad that you have research on this topic, and so that will help maybe communities like the ITAS in trying to bargain with the people in the cities and downstreams who are getting benefiting from the resources.
Thank you po, Ma'am Luli. We have one question na lang po from Sir Ike Senyeres. Why not use NPV method in computing value? Sir?
Okay. The net present value, you mean? Tama ba yun? Net present value? NPV?
Hindi po
Because
siya specify ni Sir Ike, but it's NPV method po.
Yes, if that is the net present value, actually the research, I was not able to mention it here because I just mentioned about the CVM. I have a computation about the net present value, the direct market value, of course. I have a comparison of those things as a cost-benefit analysis. Meron po. Nasa publication po, hindi ko na nasali dito kasi masyado mahaba na po yung presentation ko.
What did you get from the net present value methodology? What findings, or what do you recall from the NPV approach?
Of course, very high, like 12 billion plus, more than. Using only two commodities in the area, like abaca and copra production of the community. Only two commodities, excluding those that are other crops. But if we, of course, the research has a very limited time. We cannot account everything for the other crops. So the major crops only that are included. For example, the abaca and the coconut. Yun po.
Yeah, I was tempted to bring up the concept of NPV, no? Let's say sa Mansaka in Mako. But someone can bring up, baka malaki yung NPV of the gold underground, so it's hard to compare, hindi apples to apples yan, the cultural caves, sacred grounds. Even if you try to put there, baka a geologist can come up with a big amount underground, So that's the iffy part there. How do you, kasi something cultural is something very intimate to the indigenous people, and I'm not sure how to put an economic value to that. The other problem I'm told of is that even in IP areas, I will not mention the provinces, they're already open to some people. Are they open to leasing, renting, or selling out to others after a support? Myself from the law, So that's it. I think lampas na, Paul, lampas na. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, Sir Cesar, for the comment, and for our attendees for your questions. Just last one comment po from Ruby Gonzalez. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your work. Ayan po. And just, I guess, some parting words from me is that totoo po na kapag nagkakandak tayo ng mga research on our IP communities, I strongly agree that there must be respect, and yung respect natin sa mga communities and the members should always be observed, and that there is the importance of ownership and involvement ng mga indigenous communities in conducting this para maramdaman po nila yung on how we value their participation in researches like this. And thank you very much po, Sir Lloyd, for a very wonderful discussion this afternoon. And ayun nga po, kulang na naman po yung oras natin to further extend our discussion. And we hope to have you again so susunod po na panahon to update us on your other studies and other projects. And for our participants po, nasa chat box na po natin ang link for the evaluation form for your e-certificates. Please accomplish this. And also, as mentioned kanina, nasa chat box na rin po ang social media pages po ng Future Earth Philippines. So if you want to stay connected with us, follow or like our social media pages. And that concludes our 49th episode. Thank you so much po to our attendees and to our panelists, and again to ENP Lloyd Celeste. Thank you very much po.
Ay, maraming salamat. Sorry. At hindi ako hindi ko naabutan yung talk mo.